Hello and welcome to this presentation about the Verizon Networkfleet. I'm Javier Molina, and on this presentation I'm going to talk about the Verizon Networkfleet, what it is, how it works, and the impact that brings to its stakeholders. But first of all, I want to talk about this. Verizon. Verizon is a really famous company of telecommunications in the United States, one of the top four, competing with AT&T, T-Mobile, and Spirit. And Verizon has this type of, it can be called like a GPS for vehicles, but not technically for for tracking their ubication. It's like a GPS about the data inside the vehicle, like the engine. All right, now I'm going to talk about the stakeholders. The first one are the Verizon Communication Incorporation. This is because the Verizon Communication Incorporation is the company that developed the Network fleet. And then is all the businesses and organizations that install the Verizon Network fleet for their needs on business management, but inside their vehicles of the company. All right, now I'm going to talk about the social significance about the Verizon Network fleet. This tool can actually help businesses and organizations for their management of data of vehicles. Vehicles are important because this tool only works on them and for the data of these vehicles of these companies. And the tool get notice about if something is wrong, which could be for preventing or dealing before it gets worse. And this is actually very good for the companies because by preventing these situations or problems to getting worse, helps it help for save a lot of money that the business used for repairs and also for the increase of productivity because the business or organization uh, doesn't need to like use a high cost for this or waste sources that could help for the productivity of the company. Now the first issue that this system has is reliability and integrity. This is because the Verizon network fleet is designed for monitoring the data of vehicles that a business and organization has. This is important because when it's monitoring the data, that means that the system that is installed into a vehicle and the system must tell about if something is wrong and must say uh, about the correct data. The system cannot be wrong. The system must works correctly. This is because if the system fails, can lead to a lot of problems for the company of fixing. But actually, this system works very good. But it could fail if the system has problems of finding the problems for different reasons, like no actualization to a newer version that works better. Another issue is the surveillance. This is because the Verizon network fleet is connected to a mobile device. Mostly is put into a manager's cell phone, so he or she can track the vehicle data here, track the vehicle data, and he or she is notified about if there is any problem for solve it. Surveillance is monitoring about IT. Usually, people is monitoring people, but it can be also used for monitoring data of a system. This can be a problem if the cell phone is not connected to a Wi-Fi connection or to mobile data, because the person with the system of his or her phone is not notifying immediately. All right, now I'm going to talk about the impacts on the individual. The impacts on the individual for this system, which the individuals are the people who buy and use the Verizon network fleet a for business, are th- that these people are going to be able to find out uh, problems before they can get into our state of these problems. This is very good for them because they will save a lot of money on repair costs, so because they are going to solve the problems before, and they also are going to be more productive because they're going to have less trouble or problem for fixing the vehicles that they use for their business. But the system can bring also negative impacts. One of the negative impacts can be this is important storage, because this system is connected to a cell phone, and the cell phone saves a lot of uh, saves the storage about the data, but the cell phone might take a lot of the storage that could take a lot of this space of this person, which can this space could be important for him or for her, because it can be used for other things of business. A possible solution for this impact is that the system deletes data that is already not necessary. So the phone doesn't occupy more space, and the person could use that storage for business. Now the application to specific scenarios. The specific scenario is obviously business and employment, because this Verizon network fleet is used for business and organizations to track the data of their vehicles. Then who? The business and organizations install the system of their vehicles. I already told that. And what? They use the Verizon network fleet for finding any problem of the vehicles to solve it before any other, more problems for save money and increase productivity. Then when? Since 2012, the year when Verizon, which is a company, acquired the old developer Huge Telematics. So now Verizon is the owner of this network fleet, and now they are the developers. Where? In the United States, the only country where the Verizon operates. How? By being installing a vehicle where the system collects the data of the vehicle to know if everything is all right or if there is any problem. Finally, is the IT system. First of all, the input is the vehicle's data, like fuel, water, or oil data, or also some information about the engine, etc. There are a lot of information inside a vehicle, and these systems are able to uh, get that information. That's the input. Then the process. The process of this system is that the system gets actualizations about the data of the vehicle. This is because the system knows needs to know about when the vehicle is good or it has every problem, because this system is capable to identify if the data is in a not normal status to inform about the problem. Then the output. The output is obviously the display screen of the person with the system inside his or her cell phone, and is sent by a notification about what is the problem for solving it. And finally, the storage. Storage is about the system has the storage, the Verizon network fleet the storage about all the data. It not necessarily takes all the data inside because it can be a lot, but it has the most important data for sending, and is possibly deleting that data but a little time later.